recording. Okay. Hello, everyone. I got pronounce your last name, Chris.
Nzuriwatu.
Nzuriwatu.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Where you from?
I'm from Los Angeles. I changed my name maybe 10, 15 years ago. It means good people.
Okay. All righty. Cool.
hmm
Okay. And right now you're living in Georgia.
That's right. Atlanta, Georgia. Yep.
Atlanta, Georgia. Okay. Okay, guys. Chris has been with Slow Life Trading now for 3 months.
3 months.
3 months. Okay.
hmm
So, and he called me up, emailed me up Sunday morning about 5:30 a.m. my time. I guess that's only
hmm
about 7:30 a.m. your time. I'm like, man, he texted me this, he emailed me this early. He must really have something on his mind. But I see you did have something on your mind, but it wasn't that early for you. But
Yeah.
and then he asked me, he said in the email, do you have 5 or 10 minutes? I need to talk to you. And I'm wondering, what in the world could he want? So I was anxious to talk to you. So
Yeah.
then he asked me, could I do some personal training? Okay, now, being in the class for 3 or 4 months and you still wanted personal training, what is it that was in the class? Okay, let me back up. What made you want to join Slow Life Trading in the first place?
Okay. Great question. So I had always been interested in learning trade, but I knew starting out it would be an uphill battle.
Okay,
So I just never got started. I got introduced to trading years ago, but actually putting on trades, I hadn't gotten to that point yet. So when I saw I got wind of you through Cortez,
okay,
and I said, man, this guy, this guy knows his stuff. He seems, like a regular guy. I see a lot of myself in him.
uh-huh,
And I said, well, maybe he can kind of get me started. And I liked your communication style. I liked how you explained the information that was in a way that kind of made sense to me. So I said, man, now's the time. It's now or never. So
okay,
I made the leap.
okay. You said something that really spiked my interest. You like the way I communicated. You like okay, what was it in my style that let me see, what was it in the way that I communicated that made you, I'm trying to figure out, okay, what was it in my teaching or communicating? And I guess you saw this stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, what was it in that that made you say, oh, this guy knows what he's doing, or I like the way he's teaching it? What was it? I don't know what my words are, but you kind of get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think so. What I got from, how you delivered the information, it felt like you were able to put yourself in my shoes. You knew you were talking. It felt like you knew your audience really well.
Okay,
Like you knew that people were just starting out. You knew that it was going to be challenging in the beginning to kind of pick up this information. And so you kind of started out slow. You started out, you weren't talking over people's heads. You gave the information in bite-sized, digestible pieces, and just in a way that was easy to understand, especially at
okay.
the beginner level. So, I resonated with that. I appreciate it.
Oh man, thank you very much on that. Uh,
Yeah.
when I'm trying to deliver this message, keep in mind I'm going through trying to learn Spanish right now.
Mm, mm,
And when I'm talking to these teachers, or the teacher that I did have, the one thing I really try to tell them, I say, I learn slow. I said, and this
mm.
foreign language, part of the reason why I don't want to teach or don't want to be in a class is because it's embarrassing. You tell me
Yeah.
3 words and then tell me to repeat them. I done forgot them already. You know? And so when you hear people being that I'm trying to learn a foreign language, and people are telling me, and I know back when I was in it too, when people tell me, man, trying to learn how to trade is like trying to learn a foreign language.
That's right.
That is no lie. It really is. So I can show you how to do something 3 times. And then when you go to do
Hmm.
it, you can totally forget.
Yeah.
Even though for me,
Yeah.
it's 5 steps, okay? Or however many steps it is. And just do
Yeah.
these 5 steps over and over and over again. You got to learn how to do them 5 steps,
That's
you know?
right.
So, and it's like a muscle memory. The cool thing
Hmm.
is, I don't care who you are, where you come from, you can learn it. And a lot of
Hmm.
times when you listen to some of these other people, they say, well, I was a hedge fund manager, or I graduated
Yeah.
from MIT,
Yeah.
or, I was in finance and I got a degree in finance, or it's kind of overwhelming. It makes you feel like, oh, they can get it because they love numbers.
Hmm.
There's a lot of
Hmm.
people that do not like numbers at all, and they think that they
Yeah.
have to understand numbers in order to make this work. Well, that's what we
Yeah.
have these for.
Yep.
Okay.
That's right.
We don't have to have numbers. Okay. Just like I was explaining to you, if you know how to put ice in the refrigerator back, years ago, then just filling up the ice tray, stick it in the refrigerator, and then coming back when the ice is frozen and taking it out. It's the
Yeah.
same thing with this trading. Do all the stuff we have to do, putting the ice under the water, and getting the trade ready, put it on, stick it in the freezer. And then
Yeah.
once it's in the freezer, we put in our exit price. Okay. And then when it hit that exit price, it's done. It's like sticking it in the
Hmm.
oven and coming back when it's ready. So,
Hmm.
and as you saw today, we did a paper trade today live, and it took us 40 something minutes, almost 50 minutes.
Yeah.
And we did a couple of these, I think. And, you just see that it worked. I'm trying to figure out something else to ask you. You saw me on Cortez. Did you see me doing the live interview, or you saw me what?
So I saw him interview you.
Okay.
Um, and then, you talked about, what you did for a living. Um, well, you talked about trading.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, wow. Okay. So that really piqued my interest.
Okay.
Um, Somebody that looked like me that was actually trading.
That
That
helps.
was, that,
Yeah.
that does help.
Yeah.
Um, and then I saw you in a separate interview where you talked about, okay, well, I can show you how to do it. And that
Yeah.
really piqued my interest. Um, and again, I just kind of liked how you were patient. Patience at this level is really big because,
Yeah.
like you just said, I may need to hear something several times before it
Yes.
starts to set in.
Yes.
And you understood that, and it didn't. You were okay with that,
Yeah.
and that's a big deal. So
And we're
yeah,
busy. We don't have
right,
time. A lot of times we want to, but we don't have time to go back and uh, do a whole lot of studying. Your studying almost
yeah,
need to be when you're in the class. Uh,
yeah.
Let me ask you this question. So, how do you feel about having a live class versus just being able to get a class on audio or video? Do you think that makes a difference?
For me, it made a difference.
Mm-hmm.
I like um, having the classes as you have them now, but this one-on-one situation, it man, it was a game changer for me.
Okay.
And now I feel like I can go back to the class and ask better questions and get even further along. I can ask you more targeted questions, and you can kind of really zero in on
Yes.
exactly, what I'm trying to say and what I'm trying to get at. So for me personally, it was a game changer. It may not be everybody's situation, but it was
Mm-hmm.
really helpful for me.
I've
Yeah.
noticed that everybody is different, or at least everybody really believes that they're different. But you find out that we more similar than we think we are. And as we get
Hmm.
older, younger students too, but they tend to grasp things a whole lot quicker than the person that's a little bit older. It's a little bit harder for us to learn. We done forgot
Yeah.
most of the stuff that we knew.
Right.
Uh, I
Right.
used to could type real good, and now I have to peck, you know. So and 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 reason being because being a mechanic, you don't have to do a whole lot of typing. So didn't go to
Hmm.
college. So my high school years, that's a long time ago when I was typing.
Yeah.
So you know, and then
Yeah.
also I think being that I was a mechanic, I think people realize they don't have to be a genius to do this.
Mm.
Okay. And the
Mm.
cool thing is, I tell people I think I'm one of the worst directional. Look at this thing today. We picked it up, expecting it to go down. And I'm looking at this chart right now. It looked like it's trying to ease its way up, but we still
Yeah.
won't. And
Still
I'm
won't.
probably one of the worst directional traders I think there is. But the good news is when you're doing these credit spreads and you give yourself enough cushion, you don't have to be right on the direction.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and even though you're making this much, when you look at it in the big scheme of thing or in the big picture, it's a lot.
It's a
You know,
lot.
it's a
That's
lot.
right.
And I'm
Yeah.
starting to see students now starting to have some real success. I had one student that made 37% last month. I didn't make that kind of money.
Mm.
She evidently she's a little bit more aggressive than what I am, but that's
Okay.
okay. That's good too, you
Yeah.
know. So anyway, man, I just wanted to get hear what you had to say. Let people hear what you had to say. Uh, I'm trying to think of something else to ask. Uh, okay, do you feel like the price that you paid was a fair price, or is it worth it?
I do. I think it's worth it.
Okay,
You know, when you say price, it is a price, but for me, the way I made sense of it was an investment because I'm gonna get a return off of this.
yes, you
I'm gonna
will.
get a return, from now on. So
Yes,
it was
and you can pass on.
I can pass on. I can pass it on.
Yep,
And I'm thinking now about what that looks like because, I have a 16-year-old son, and at some
exactly.
point, I'm gonna sit him down and I'm gonna give him this information, and it's gonna pay dividends.
Or
So,
even just let him sit in on the classes with you.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it give you
So,
somebody to talk to about it once y'all both start to get it.
hmm hmm. So it was a bit of a sacrifice, but um, it's an investment. It's an investment, one that I'm happy to make, and I do it
Hmm.
again. Yeah,
Okay, great. That's
yeah.
great to hear. Well, okay, Chris, I think that's been about long enough. I don't want to keep you too long, but I really do thank you for doing
Oh
this,
man,
and
thank you.
thank you, thank you for your honesty. And you know, you may not know it, but what you're saying could help somebody else take
I
that
hope
next
so.
step. Yeah,
I hope so. Yeah.
I do too, because I don't think people really believe that they can actually do this. And I'm telling you,
Mm.
they can.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh
you
yeah.
see that you can. And
Yeah.
that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
I mean, people don't pay you what you're worth, you know, on a
Mm.
job. So it sure is nice to go out there and you can make what you're worth. And you get a raise just by adding more money to your trade,
How
you
about
know.
that?
And
In a
then when you
fraction
start
of the time.
at a fraction of the time, and when you start seeing how powerful compounding is, oh my goodness, it
Wow.
can really explode on you.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So anyway, man, thanks again. I really
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Robert. Yes,
Have a
sir.
happy 4th of July, and
Yes, sir.
look forward to seeing you in the class on the 13th.
Oh, you will. I appreciate it, Robert.
All right,
Thank you.
man. Thank
All
you.
right. Okay.